So when I was very young, my goal was just to draw. I loved to draw all sorts of things. Even when I was cartooning, I was drawing really nice, realistic pen and ink drawings. My big break was when I was at uni high and I illustrated History of the North Pole by Chris Butler. Made my first comic book. The thing about comics is that I would be heard when I made a comic, and there would be some issue that I would talk to people about in real life, and I would be dismissed and people would say I was stupid. Then I would put exactly that same idea into a comic and people would go, oh, that's very insightful, that's very brave and wow, innovative. And I realized that people would pay attention to ideas if they were in the form of a comic that they would never listen to in real life. And that was very important to me. Also around that time, I was doing Super 8 movies, borrowed a neighbor's Super 8 camera, but there was nowhere to go in Urbana with animation. So I focused on comics, and I did comics professionally until my late 20s when I was burning out of comics, and then I got back into animation, also borrowing a friend's Super 8 camera and picking up where I left off when I was 14. And then digital technology was available to the people, it was cheap, and I have been animating ever since. I start with an idea. I have a basic concept of the plot, and then as I'm going along, it reveals itself to me, and the process involves a lot of giving myself time to think about it as I'm working. So while I'm working on one thing, more is revealed about the rest of it. Sita Sings the Blues exceeded all my expectations in terms of its going out into the world. Making that movie was all I wanted to do, and I didn't have investors for it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew it was an illegal movie, and I just made it anyway. And then I got into quilting after I finished Sita Sings the Blues, and I didn't want to be at the computer anymore, and I wanted to do something with my hands. I was really into quilting as a way to avoid animating. Only I wanted to get back into animating, so I figured the best way to do that was to fully commit to quilting, and then I would want to avoid quilting, and it worked. So I bought this enormous quilting robot, which is now PaleGray Labs, me and PaleGray. I was really into that for a few months, and then it was time to start animating again. I'm currently making another feature film called Satyr-masochism, which is based on the Passover story, the book of Exodus. I just think it will be a cool film. And I feel that the film needs to exist, and I'm the only person that can make it, so that's what I need to do.